The South China Sea shimmered under the august sun as the USS John Finn. An Arleigh Burke-class destroyer sliced through calm waters. The mission, a freedom of navigation operation, sailing through international waters, tore and forced that the oceans belonged to all. For the crew, it was another day in a region where routine is always shadowy tension. Sailors scanned radar screens, engineers monitored engines, and the bridge team kept the ship steady on its course. Every member knew their role in upholding the international rules-based order that keeps global trade and energy flowing. The John Finn, equipped with the Aegis Combat System, a formidable missile arsenal, was a floating fortress. But today, its presence was its greatest weapon. By simply being here, the ship sent a message. The United States stands by the freedom of the seas. Commander Evelyn Hayes watched the horizon, aware that their mission was to prevent conflict, not provoke it. She understood the delicate balance of diplomacy and deterrence in these contested waters. The calm of Themerning was fragile. In the South China Sea, the line between routine and crisis razor thin. Every patrol here is a statement, a test, and a reminder that international law is defended not just by words, but by will and presence. The crew's professionalism was their shield, their training, their anchor. As the ship pressed on, the sense of anticipation was palpable. In these waters, peace is always provisional. They come broke with a sharp report from the Combat Information Center. Multi-port surface contacts. Military identifiers closing fast. On the horizon, 2 Chinese warships appeared. One, a Liu Yang III class destroyer, the other, a Zhongkai II class frigate, moving to intercept. This was no accident. It was a deliberate challenge. The John Finn crew snapped to heightened readiness, manning battle stations and sealing watertight doors. Commander Hayes' orders were clear. Maintain course and speed. Assert our rights, but prepare for anything. The Chinese ship split tough flanked the John Finn, boxing her in. Classic intimidation tactic. Yet the American destroyer held steady, refusing tow, yield ground in international waters. The tension on the bridge was thick. Every movement and radio co-loaded with meaning. The world shrank to Thespis between 3 warships, each maneuvering. For advantage without crossing the line into open conflict, the John Finn's presence was a statement. We will not be bullied or boxed in. The Chinese ship's preside closer, their intentions unmistakable. The crew's training took over, calm, precise. Ready? This was the reality off Madorn naval power. A contest of nerves, professionalism, and resolve. The encounter was about to become personal, the stakes global. Every decision no mattered. The South China Sea's calm had given way to a high-stakes standoff. The world watched, unseen but ever present. In these moments, history is written not in words, but in actions. The John Finn sailed on, unyielding. The Chinese ships matched her, daring her to flinch. The line between peace and crisis had never been thinner. The crew braced for what might come next. The message was clear. Neither side would back down easily. The standoff had begun. The radio crackled. U.S. Navy warship, this is Chinese naval warship 175. You are entering Chinese territorial waters. Alter your course. The claim was clear, but the United States did not recognize it. Commander Hayes responded, voice steady. China's naval warship 175. This is USS John Finn. We are operating lawfully in international waters. We'll maintain course. And speed, the exchange was brief, formal, and unyielding. Each side arresting its position for the record in the world. The Chinese commander repeated his warning, more insistent. You are undermining peace and stability. Alter course immediately. Ace gave no further reply. The John Finn's course was its answer. The 2 warships now sailed in parallel steel giants, locked in a silent high-stakes dialogue. The tension was electric. Every sailor knew they were on the front line of a global contest. No one blinked. The American destroyer did not deviate by a single degree. The Chinese ship matched her, daring her to yield. This was Mortana radio exchange. It was a test of resolve. The world's eyes were on this patch of sea. The message was unmistakable. Freedom of navigation will not be surrendered. The standoff was now a matter of presence, not words. Every move was calculated. Every silence will deliberate. The John Finn's crew held their nerve. The Chinese destroyer shad them. The encounter was tense but controlled. In these moments, discipline and professionalism were the only safe words. The world held its breath. The South China Sea is a global crossroads. Over a third of world trade passes through these waters. Beneath the surface lie vast reserves of oil, gas, and rich fishing grounds, making control here a source of immense power and wealth. China's sweeping claims, rejected by international law, threaten the free flow of commerce and energy. For the Assad, its allies, upholding the rules here is about more than geography. It's about offending the principle that law, not force, governs the seas. If that principle falls, so too could the stability of global trade routes vary where. The standoff was a microcosm of a much larger struggle, rules versus might. The parallel sailing of the John Finn and the Chinese destroyer was political theater on a global stage. Fourth, U.S. It signaled commitment to loosen the defense of international norms. For China, it was a show of strength and a bid to normalize its claims. This Wasker zone competition, coercion, and intimidation, short of war, every maneuver, every radio call was a message. Commander Hayes' resolve was a signal. America would not be edged out. The Chinese commander's aggression was atheist of us will. The outcome would echo far beyond these waters. USS John Finn is more than steel and missiles. It's a testament to American sea power and the professionalism of its crew. The Aegis Combat System and advanced sensors make it a formidable force, but its true strength lies in its people. Sailors trained relentlessly, mastering their roles from the bridge to the engine room. During the standoff, their calm and discipline were unshakable. Commander Hayes, a veteran with decades-off experience, led with quiet authority. Every order was executed with precision. Every sailor trusted the next. This cohesion turned a capable ship into a confident force. The John Finn's edge was not just technology, but the humane element in crisis that made all the difference. The crew's professionalism, their greatest weapon. In these moments, it was the difference between escalation and control. The standoff was a meeting of two naval traditions. The U.S. Navy, with a century of global experience, values adaptability and initiative. Its crews are empowered to make decisions in themament, drawing on deep institutional. The Chinese Navy, rapidly modernized, is still building their reservoir of experience. Their actions were professional but rigid. Following a strict script, the U.S. crew's flexibility is a quiet advantage. The plan is catching up in technology, but experience takes time. This encounter was a live lesson for both sides. The contest was not just about ships, but about cultures and command. In the end, experience and restraint prevailed. As dusk fell, the Chinese warships peeled away, their warnings echoing over their audio. The John Finn continued on course, mission accomplished, tension easing. Both sides had made their point, but avoided disaster. The professionalism and restraint of the crews kept the peace. The message to the world was clear. U.S. will defend freedom of navigation, not with bluster, but with presence and resolve. Allies were reassured. Adversaries cautioned. The John Finns. Transit was a reminder thought peace is preserved by strength and discipline. In the South China Sea, thorough of law held firm, at least for today. The crew's actions echoed far beyond the horizon. The freedom of Theseus was secured for one more day. In these waters, every patrol matters,